You guessed it, huge movie fanatics here to review Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. I mean, this is just like, whoa. And I think their original title was Leatherface, right? And
was it?
Yeah, it was, which again is just like Day of the Woman, like, yeah, people are gonna go see Leatherface, you know? So, I mean, the title is just like one of the most famous, unbelievable titles ever, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So this is another one of those, if you've seen the Halloween reviews that we did, that one of these horror movies that I got into when I was just approaching the age of 12, and it was just like, whoa, I remember this movie. This is before I was brave enough to tackle horror movies. This is back when they played it on TV, you know. And the first thing of this movie that this is before I was too brave to even see it. I heard, like, he was pulling that one girl into the house, put her on the meat hook and started the chainsaw, and I turned off the TV. I'm like, oh my God, you know, but that did spark a little bit of like curiosity, like, should I turn it back on? You know, but a few months later it was on again, and then I taped it. And the funny thing is, I'm going to say this really quick, the first thing besides that scene that I ever experienced from the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre was Friday night, and me and my dad would always go out and just go shopping or just, you know, just go out and do whatever. And we put it was on TV, and I put on the VCR to record the movie. So I put at his house, so I put the VCR on the recorder, then we went and did the stuff. And I remember being at Best Buy and trying to tune in, because the movie was playing, it was being recorded at home, and tune in the movie at Best Buy to see what's going on. And the antenna didn't work or whatever, so it didn't have any picture, it just got the sound. So it was like 23, channel 23, and it was just, for whatever reason, there was no picture, just sound, and it was Franklin going, come on Franklin, it's gonna be a fun trip. So it's like, I can't see anything, I can just hear this, and that was one of the first things I ever heard of Texas Chainsaw, besides the girl being pulled in and put on the meat hook. So I figured that was a cycle. I figured that must have been one of the crazy things. You know, but anyway, that's
did you know?
Yeah, that's a little bit of my very first, that was my first Paul Partain, who plays Franklin, first introduction of Paul Partain. It was just audio. But when I was a kid, I never really watched the van stuff, I just watched the kill stuff. I'll just get into it right now. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just beyond easy 4 stars. I mean, it's just so, kind of like you said with John Carpenter and Halloween. For my money, I don't think Tobe Hooper ever surpassed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think that it's one of them instances where when you're youngest, for whatever reason, maybe he had, you know, financial, maybe money people just down his throat for the rest of his career, I don't know. But for whatever reason, you know, one of his first movies is, if not, I don't know if it's his first or not, I don't know, Tobe Hooper's filmography as well, but I mean, it's just so amazing. And why don't you just, I'm not done, but why don't you take off from there?
I will say that I actually like Poltergeist better. But
yeah, well, that's pretty much a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah,
but even Jerry Goldsmith score sounds like John Williams.
Yeah, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I would give that also 4 stars. It's one of those just terrifying movies that's scoreless, and that adds to the terror.
Well, it's got this funky ass abstract.
That's just noise, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a score.
Yeah. So, like, the fact that there's no score, especially in that last, like, 20 minutes where they're screaming at her at the table and she's just screaming. And,
well, that funky ass noise is there.
Yeah, but like there's no score there, which just adds to the realism and the terrifying nature of that ending. Like, I just was sort of blown away with that, and it's one that, like, the atmospherically is just
everything about that movie.
Yeah, like there's a lot of greatness there. Like the opening, like credits where they're just cutting to the bodies that are.
Well, the guy, I presume the hitchhiker's digging up some dead bodies,
and then you just hear that.
Yeah, the famous flash.
Yeah.
Was This is actually used in the remake trailer.
Yeah, that was the best thing about the trailer.
Yeah. Let me just cut in. One thing that I gotta say about Texas Chainsaw Massacre that's so great, which has never been captured in any of the sequels, is the fact that the bodies. When you're watching the movie, it's like 2001 in the space shots. When you're watching the movie, the bodies are so well done that you just accept them for being real, because it doesn't look like movie body parts. It looks like the guy on the monument. I mean, it looks, for whatever reason, I don't know what, a lot of it's just like the dried, oh, he was kind of gooey, but I mean, some of the other stuff, it's just the body parts. You just accept it for real, and it's got this just unfaltering, just in-your-face realism in that movie.
Everything looks real.
Like, everything looks real.
Leatherface's face looks the best in that first movie.
Oh man,
hands down.
And the production design for the inside of that house is like, it's not a movie production design. It's like this is over a period of several years or whatever, 10 years of just psychotics.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the guy's name now who did that stuff, but it's something Burns.
Just incredible work. And the performance from the lead woman,
Marilyn Burns.
Marilyn Burns, she is great, man. She sells that, and like when she's just sitting there screaming and everything, like she's the audience. We're sitting there in awestruck terror, and the grandfather upstairs, or was he upstairs?
Yeah, well, originally it was upstairs. When she meets him first time.
Yeah, like that was just genius. And you're sitting there like, oh god, they're keeping a dead body, that's horrible. And then when he starts moving and stuff, it's like, oh god.
Oh yeah, that's right, because
when they're trying to hit her head,
dead,
and he just can't get it to, he can't lift, and it's just like dropping on her and slowly cutting into her head. It's just oh god, like that was probably the most horrifying movie. It's probably I have a list of the 5 movies that scared me the most, and that's the second. It's number 2 on that list. That's just the most horrifying movie.
And what's so great about it is where if you analyze it, where's the on-screen gore? I mean, there's no on-screen gore.
No, when he cuts into Leatherface, cuts his leg. That's the only thing you really see, and then the blood on the back of her head when the thing keeps on getting dropped.
It's so amazing how, and Tobe Hooper tried to do it again in this movie which we won't go into, called Eaten Alive, and it just wasn't there. It didn't work. But you could see the chaos he tried to put it in there, just like Texas Chainsaw, but it's like night and day. I mean, there's no comparison.
Yeah, the frenetic energy in the movie too is just.
It gets to a point, especially towards the end of the movie, where they got her at the table, where it's almost unbearable. Well, it's like unbearable.
Yeah,
it's just like.
Everything from when she and Franklin are in
until they get
cactus field or whatever.
Well, when they get attacked, everything from then on, I don't know how long it is. It's 30 minutes.
It's like 30-minute sprint, and like your heart is just like pounding and pounding, and then it gets to that dining room scene, and it's just like you just you sit there, can't breathe. You start like getting claustrophobic, even though it's like a wide open space that you're watching it, and a wide open space that you're sitting in. Like, you just feel like so pressed in and closed, and you can't do anything.
Well, all them shots of like those super macro shots of her eyeball, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the armchair made of arms was a nice touch.
Again, whatever his name is, Mr. Burns, who is no longer with us, unfortunately, but he did all that stuff where he just went and got from animal hospitals just animal parts and whatever. But the armchair, I mean, that is awesome. Beyond. What's so funny is I think her hands are tied behind or something, and it looks like her arms. Sometimes in certain shots, it looks like it's her arms.
I thought it was for the longest time, and then it dawned on me, like, I was like, oh my god, they're so sick.
Those are arms that are attached. Awesome.
That was great. The bed too. Like, there's just everything about that is great. The one thing that is like the weakness of the movie is the length of the car ride, but I don't think that's really a weakness. Like, it's this slow, like you're sitting there and you're like, all right, is this supposed to be a horror movie? Like, that guy's kind of creepy and weird, but this isn't scary.
Yeah,
and you're sitting there and it just lulls you into the sense, like, this is how scary it's going to get. The audience is sitting there like, this isn't scary, so I'm done with this.
I'm going to put down any shield that I may come into a horror movie with, and then it's like,
because about this crazy family. You see this crazy guy, and you're just like,
What?
That's the crazy. That's like, okay.
Okay, yeah, this
And
ain't.
so you pull down any defenses that you've set up until they walk into the house, and you see Leatherface whip open that thing and
Oh man.
the guy's head, and then the like flailing on the ground.
The great
Yeah.
kind of realistic
Like
convulsions.
that was.
And the sound design, the thuds for the hammer on the head.
Yeah.
The thuds.
You feel everything.
Oh,
Like when he got hit, you just sort of feel that. When the girl is put on the hook, you don't see it, but you feel it.
Yeah.
Like it was just easy 4 stars. I mean,
Unbelievable movie. There's so much to say, but it's really hard to try to focus and think of it all in front of cameras, so I'm not even going to bother. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, beyond 1974, beyond classic, 4 stars. Is that it?
yep.
Thanks for watching.
Thank
Get back and push down. Come on, Sally. Have a good one.